Well, first of all, if Tom Brady were to win, they could score 3 points and we'd give him the MVP just because he's Tom Brady. They ain't going to vote for anybody else in Tampa if they win the MVP, please. They'd give it to him, right? They'd give it to him right now. But I'm going with Kansas City, 38-34. I think that Tyreek Hill is a monster. I think Travis Kelce is too. And Patrick Mahomes is the one throwing them the football. I think too much offensive firepower when it counts. I'm going with Kansas City by 4, 38-34.
31-27, Molly's right, but it's going to be the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is going to do exactly what Dan said he has to do. He's going to be Superman in a game where they should not be favored. They should be the underdog. Patrick Mahomes will defy logic and have the game of his life, and the Chiefs will win narrowly, probably in a comeback.
I like it. Listen, I'm taking Kansas City. I took Kansas City back in February, March, April, May, June, July, August. I'm sure as heck not going to turn my back now. I think their defense is way better than people have given it credit for. I also think in football, sometimes you ride turnover waves. And at some point, that wave stops. And Tampa Bay has ridden a turnover wave. And Patrick Mahomes does a lot of things. He just doesn't give the ball away that often. I don't expect him to do it in the Super Bowl. They're the best coached team in football. They've got the best player in football. And they're the roster that is most constructed to play high-level football in the NFL right now. Kansas City goes back-to-back, and we start the conversation of can they win 3 in a row.
All right, real quick, guys, give me your MVP. Dan, you up first.
15. Patrick Mahomes.
I just don't want to go the obvious route. It's easy to pick the quarterbacks. That's a given. But I'm going to go outside. I'm going to say Tyreek Hill.
Patrick Mahomes wins his second consecutive Super Bowl MVP.
If there were no Bill Russells, would there have ever been the Michael Jordans? And so those are the kind of things that I think about when we talk about the greatest winner in team sports. And, oh, by the way, they weren't all black players. Had some white players he was coaching, too. So he had to get those dudes in that particular period of time to listen to him and buy into what he was selling as an authoritative figure.
When people didn't like when the black guy was the boss.
As the black guy was the boss, he was an authoritative figure, and still they won.
Dan, I'm going to give it to you right now. Let me just quickly say, all that Stephen A. said is true about Bill Russell. Look up his Game 7 numbers. Just look up Bill Russell Game 7 numbers. If you want a good laugh, 30 points, 40 boards. Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, here's a question I'll ask you guys. Doesn't the reality that basketball and baseball have series, like those guys can have off nights, those guys can fall down 2-0 and still win the series and lead themselves to winning the championship? Like, football is sudden death. Football is win or go home. And to go on that journey, like you can't, Tom has never really been afforded the journey of having an off night, having a game that you're not at your best. Like when he's gotten into the playoffs, more often than not, he's had to go win 3 straight games. And without like being perfect or darn near it in all of those opportunities, his football team is going to lose those games. And so the amount of championships goes so down. So, like, I think that's got to carry some weight for Tom Brady to realize, like, there wasn't the series aspect of it where you could fall down and not have your best start and still climb your way into it. I'm assuming Russell and Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, a Mickey Mantle type of guys, those guys did that stuff. Tom Brady was never afforded the opportunity to be off or have a wrong night or an off night and still go win his championships.
That's a good point, but let me put it another way. History of sports, ball in this player's hands. Take a worldwide vote. All around, who do you want the ball in the hands of? History of sports. I'll bet you Michael Jordan gets more votes than everyone else put together. And that's why he is the greatest guy.
You're talking, Max. Did you not hear what Dan said?
What's that? Carson Wentz?
He said Carson Wentz.
I'm trying to ignore that.
He said Carson Wentz. Go ahead.
It was such a good point I was making. You just ruined it.
Yeah.
You ruined the whole thing, Carson.
Sorry, Max. I had to, man.
What's the matter with you? If it was Mariano Rivera or with the ball in his hand, or David Ortiz with the bat in his hand, or by the way, other basketball players, including Kobe or anyone else you want to mention who's clutch. If it's a football player, Joe Montana or Tom Brady, any soccer player you want to mention, anyone, Wayne Gretzky or anyone in hockey or even the most clutch guys, but then say Michael Jordan. The game is on the line. Fate of the universe on the line. Earth can hand the ball to one guy who ever lived, Michael Jordan wins that in a landslide.